What's up YouTube? rbeasley123 here. I just wanted to make a follow-up video to my What is Sin. I wanted to clarify a few things, help you guys try to understand what I meant by what I was saying in that video. When I say anything apart from faith is sin, I say it, but I don't really explain why. I do a little bit, but not to a large extent. And so I wanted to follow up this video and discuss what I mean by that, and also how that relates to a non-Christian and everything he does, or he or she does, is sin. And what I mean by that. Basically, we were created to fellowship with God. That was the reason why we were created. So if we do anything apart from what we were created for, that's sin to God. It's like creating a computer and it starts to do something other than what it was created to do. It's not working. It's malfunctioning. So it's doing wrong. That's what I mean, everything apart from faith is sin. Because God created us to be living with Him, basically, 100% of the time, and in Him. And so that doesn't mean that you can't go to the movies. You can still go to the movies, but I wanted to use that to express the depth of how far sin really goes and where we're at in our sin nature. That we don't really live Christ-centered like we should. And that we get caught up in this world and don't recognize Jesus even when we go to the movies. And so I was using that as an analogy for you guys to understand the depths of sin. And that everything that a non-Christian does because of that is sin. Because everything a non-Christian does disregards Jesus. A lot of people think, well, just doing good things is good. And that's not the case. What is good is what stems from the heart. God says He looks at a man's heart. He judges the motives of men. That's what makes it good or bad. People say, well, you know, non-believers, they give to donations, they make hospitals, they give to charity. Those are considered good things, but what was the motive for the reasons why? If it's not Christ-centered, or to please Christ, or to glorify Christ, or to give Christ reverence and obedience and humbling yourself and giving and making hospitals, then it's not good. It's not of Christ, therefore it's a sin. Let me give you an example. I go to my dad and I ask him, hey Dad, can I borrow the car tonight to go to the movies? He looks at me and says, yeah, you know, son, sure you can, but could you just wash it for me before you take it? Give it a nice wash before you take it out tonight. And I look at him like, Dad, why? Why do I have to wash it? I don't want to wash it. He's like, you know, you can take it, but you have to wash it. I leave the room frustrated with a scowl on my face because I don't want to wash it. A half hour later, my dad looks outside and he sees me washing the car. I'm washing it. My face doesn't look happy about it. I'm doing what my dad asked me to do. I'm doing something good that my dad asked me to do, but I'm doing it out of self. Some other reason other than reverence to my father. You know, wanting to please him and making him happy and asking him and doing what he asked me to do. Responding in love to what he asked me to do for what he was about to do for me and allowing me to borrow his car that night. So we do things, non-believers do things that are considered good but aren't centered on God, and therefore it's sin. And so that's what I mean, that everything a non-believer does is sin. And that everything that is sin is not necessarily just destructiveness. Sin is just simply not regarding God. Of course, there are some things that push us further and further away from not regarding God, which are destructive sins like drugs, alcohol, murder, heavy sins that push us away even further than just simply disregarding God. But just the simple fact of disregarding God is sin. And so I just wanted to make that clarification video, guys. Hope you understand. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. I'm looking forward to seeing them. You guys have a good night.